guys. All right, got two on here already. This is the December 2025 live stream. And just give it a minute here for people to pop on. Also, I'm trying a new feature right now. I've got my live chat on, but I also have a thing on here that makes it so that there's a Q&A session. We always do Q&A, so I'm not sure which one will work out better, but we'll try it out for today. Oh. While we're waiting, drink of the day. I asked you guys in the community tab this morning what I should get for the drink of the day, and I don't know if anybody responded. I saw a couple likes, but last I checked it didn't have any comments, so between that and me running late, I didn't get any special drink. So this is just, looks like coffee, but it's just Diet Pepsi. But I will need the caffeine badly today because I did only get about 2 hours of sleep. Okay, well, while we wait for people to come on, I'm gonna check and see if this new feature is working. Well, never mind. I'll figure that out later. It's not enabled right now. But yeah, you guys can either put any questions in the regular chat or in the Q&A box, and I'll answer either way. So yeah, December. It's been a really surprisingly busy month. I've been stressed out about it quite a bit, if I'm being honest. There's a lot of stuff going on. As you can tell, my hair is just ridiculously long. Good thing is, though, I do have an appointment now on January 6th. So I am getting my hair cut. It hasn't been cut since July. So that's gonna be a big deal. Big step in, keeping myself up a little bit, I guess. And then the plan would be I'd probably get it cut again over spring break. So next time it won't be as long between haircuts. But yeah, I guess before I get into it, I'll roll back and talk about what happened in December. So as you guys know, I work at the university, and December, it's pretty much just finals week. Like, the guys came back from Thanksgiving break, and they were here for a week. Some of the guys for 2 weeks, depending on when their finals were. And then we closed the house on the 16th. And since then, I've been really busy doing inspections, putting in work orders. I'm kind of juggling contractors right now. I've got a few that need to come in for various things. Plus, I've got my regular handyman and our new turn contractors that I'm trying to get squared away. There's right now kind of a dispute between them about who's doing what. So I'm trying to get that figured out. My cleaner has COVID, so she hasn't been here to get that stuff done. And then we've got a new inspection that I'm doing. That's been a challenge. There's been a lot of changes there. I had a visit from our national staff, not yesterday, but the day before, which I wasn't given notice of. I guess I was supposed to be, but I was told maybe like 3 hours before he got there, when I had only had like 2 hours of sleep, so that went all right. But I would have rather had some notice on it. Anyway, that's kind of where things are. Basically, even though I was super busy, I made myself take some time, and at least in the evenings, like, even though I worked on Christmas Day and all that stuff, I still tried to like watch Christmas movies and like do some stuff. I didn't have like a traditional Christmas meal because everything was closed, but I did at least order a meal from IHOP. I used Uber Eats, which is probably only the second time this year that I've had food delivered. but yeah, everything's closed, and the restaurant that was open I wanted to order from was so far away that it's farther than my car could get. So I did spend money on that. Um, but yeah, it's Christmas dinner, so um, it's worth it. I wanted to make, I guess, make something special of it. So anyway, got through Christmas. The plan is I've got to finish these inspections, get everything ready for work. Um, I have some projects I need to work on. I am still working on that video that I promised you guys. I said it would be out in December, and it might still be. Um, I'm still trying to get the student loan video together, and I'm gonna do that. But now also on top of that, I have to calculate everything at the end of the year so that I can then make the end of year financial goal review and be ready to set my 2026 financial goals. So it's like 3 videos I got to get together, and I'm already stressed out about other stuff. So I'm trying my best with that stuff. On top of that, I have a lot of work stuff going on, and some of the guys moved out. We will have fewer guys in the spring, but there's a lot of changes going on that I'm trying to figure out. And then on top of that, I am going to be going home. So I'm going to be going home for a week, but that's including travel time. And I'm driving, so it takes 2 days to drive there, and 2 days to drive back. So really, I'll only be home for 3 days. And I'm getting my hair cut, maybe hopefully meeting up with my cousin. I'm taking some stuff down to my storage units, and there's a few things I'm going to bring back. I have a nice space heater that I want to bring back. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's the first time, well, the second time I will have been home in a year and a half. And I am going to run some errands basically when I'm there. That's the main thing. I won't be able to do much, but I need it. I need to get back and get some stuff done. So I'm gonna do that, and when I get back, that'll give me about a week and a half to get everything finished, getting the turn done at the house for winter break, and then the guys will be back around the end of January. So I'll have the house to myself for a little while after that. Make sure. Okay, yeah, no comments. All right, but yeah, that's basically what happened in December. Like I said, I wasn't expecting it to be this busy. I thought I'd have that video out. I thought I'd have my inspections done that I'm still working on for work. I'm behind on that as well. But I'm just powering through, trying to get all that done and in the system by the end of the year, so that I can take this trip and that I can get those other 2 new videos done as well and not be too late coming out with them. I'll just do my best with that. But that's the plan anyhow. And let's see what else. I think that's really the main thing. Like, that's really the most of what has happened here in December. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Good thing is I'm driving home. I was originally gonna fly, and then there were all those things going on with the government shutdown and canceling flights, and I didn't want to deal with that. And so I decided I was gonna drive. So then even when the government reopened and they weren't cutting flights, I was like, well, at this point I've decided I'm gonna drive. And so that I can transport stuff back to the storage unit and bring stuff back from the storage unit, and also to save money on hotels because I can just sleep in the car certain nights. I'm just gonna do that. And I'm just gonna make a road trip of it. So I'll be driving through Massachusetts and Connecticut, which are 2 states I've never been to. So I'll add those to my list. And then I'll be driving through New York and Pennsylvania, but like parts of it I haven't been to ever. So new experiences. And I'll come out of PA around Morgantown, which is just the last place I want to be. But I have not been to Morgantown since the day I left it back in 2022. And I'd always said that I would never go back. I don't ever have any desire to go there, but there's not much of a way to drive between here and where I'm going without going through there. And so I decided if I have to drive through there, I might as well stop for food, because there's a restaurant that I like there. They ended up putting one in Ohio, and I ate there all the time. I even ate there in July when I was home, and it went out of business. So now if I want to go there, I've got to go to the one in Morgantown. So I'm going to stay near Morgantown the first night as I'm driving. And then in the morning, I'll get up, I'll go to that restaurant, and then drive the rest away into Columbus. Okay, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna turn off this Q&A session because I want to make sure that you guys can just put messages in the chat. If you have commented anything so far, I have not seen it. So I just turned that off just in case that was like somehow blocking messages. We've got 7 people on. Normally about 15 minutes in, it'll start sending out notifications, and we're like 12 minutes right now. Weird. All right. So yeah, that's my plan for the rest of winter break, the rest of the year, beginning of January. And then spring semester should be a good bit easier. There are going to be fewer guys in the house, which means that I should have less work. They should break less stuff. And then I've got some projects I'm working on in 2026, and one of them is like fairly early in the year. The earlier I get that done, the better. I mean, I'm hoping to have it done before school starts. That would be ideal. So I will work on that. So, all right, this is going to be on you guys. We're 13 minutes in. There's Max. Hey, Max. Glad you're here. I don't know if you tried to comment earlier, but I was trying out a new feature, and I don't think it worked. We always just do like a Q&A thing here, but they actually have a Q&A feature now. I tried it, and I'm not really sure what happened with it, but no one was commenting, so. Yeah. So yeah, we got through Christmas. I didn't really do anything. Everything was closed, of course, and me being up here, and me being the only one in the house right now, there really wasn't anything to do. So I just watched Christmas movies most of the day. I had to work a little bit, but then outside of that, I ordered IHOP because it was like one of the only things open. So not a traditional Christmas meal for sure, but I got well, usually I get the Colorado omelet, but they were out of them. So I got the poblano and something omelet with a side of ham. And then that also comes with pancakes. So, and then you can choose what kind. So I got the cinnamon sugar ones. But those were a separate meal. I ate those like for breakfast the next day. But anyway, yeah, that was basically all I did for Christmas. I don't know. I think it's because I've been so busy this month. I didn't get quite into this Christmas spirit, but I see Jennifer's on here. Oh, and by the way, guys, just so you know, YouTube made a change within the last month probably that's going to be super confusing. Um, when I see you guys post and the names I know you guys by are like the names that you have on your channel, but now YouTube has changed it where it displays everyone's username rather than the name you chose. So if you're somebody who's here like a lot, and yeah, I would recognize your username or like the name that you usually go by, I may not know who you are if your username is something different. Um, Max and Jennifer's are close enough that I know who they are, but yeah. So okay, let me see what Jennifer said. She said, "Hi, I did not get a notification that you were live. How has Christmas been for you?" Well, so it doesn't surprise me you didn't get a notification. I don't know. I don't know how they roll those out, but I posted this morning that I was going to do it just on the community tab, and I'm not sure how many people saw that. And then I scheduled the live stream not too long before I started, so you might not have seen it in subscriptions. And then I had to create one live stream and then delete it and then create another one. So who knows? Somewhere along the line there, probably something happened. But I'm glad you're here. As far as Christmas, I really didn't do anything. I had to work a little bit. Um, right now, I'm the only one at the house, and all the guys are home on winter break. I had to do a couple of things during the day, but outside that, I was just telling Max, like, I kind of had a problem this year, like, getting into the Christmas spirit at all. And I don't mean like I was being like Scrooge. I wanted to be in the Christmas spirit, but I think I was so busy this month that it was almost like I didn't have time to take the time to get to that point. Um, so I, um, so what I ended up doing was not, well, on Christmas Day, but then also like, I don't know, like for a few days before that, even though I really didn't have time and I was stressed out, I was like, hey, you know what? Like, Christmas is important. Like, I'm gonna take some time, and even if I have to sit here and work on my iPad, I'm gonna have like Christmas movies playing in the background. Um, and so anyway, um, yeah, anyway, I tried to make some time for myself, I guess is what I'm saying. And even though it wasn't very much, and I didn't super get into the Christmas spirit, I at least did watch some Christmas movies, and I did buy myself a special for me Christmas dinner, even if it wasn't traditional Christmas dinner. But yeah, Jennifer, what did you do for Christmas? And like, what do you do? Like, what did you personally do? But like, also, what is a normal Christmas like where you're from? Mike says, did any of the guys get you a gift or your boss? No. So my boss didn't. Actually, I'm not sure what's going on with my boss right now. She's a little overwhelmed with things. So I don't hear from her very often. But no, the guys did not. Now I can say last year, those guys that I worked with, they did give me $100 gift card, and I still actually have that. I think it got boxed up when I moved, and I just haven't dug through to find it. Um, I need to get that out. But yeah, they got me like $100 Visa card. These guys did not get me anything, and I don't want to act like um, they should and they did something wrong. Um, but yeah, they just kind of disappeared. I think the last guy moved out on the 16th, and didn't hear anything from any of them. So they're not real happy with me right now. So like, I'm not like in trouble. It's just they got in trouble and they're mad at me about it. So I'm not sure that they would be getting me anything. Case says, got any Christmas bonus? No. You know, I really, I really thought I was going to. And this isn't a case of like, Christmas vacation where I thought I was getting this huge bonus and then flipped out when I didn't. I just, I did think I was going to get a Christmas bonus and I was excited about it because I was going to put it like toward debt and I was excited to be able to make an extra payment. And I was expecting it probably to be like $100 or $200 or something like that. Um, when I took this job, they told me that it doesn't have a bonus structure. But then after I started, they told me it did. Which, hey, I'm not going to complain about that. But because I was told it doesn't have one, there's nowhere in my paperwork that it talks about like bonuses. It doesn't talk about what they are or what they're based on. So one time, and I want to say it was in May, I got a bonus of $250. That's the only bonus I've gotten since I've worked here. And I don't know what it was for. Um, I don't know if that was like the full bonus amount or if that was the lowest one that they could pay. I literally have no idea what it was for, what it was based on. And because they told me I don't get bonuses, I just thought, there's no way I can like look at the metrics and make sure I hit them and then get my bonus. With the Christmas bonuses, the reason I thought I was getting one is because our cleaner had told me that she got one in the past. She's been here a couple years. So, yeah, I thought, she's like, yeah, we always get a Christmas bonus. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, no, I didn't get one. Wait. Oh, Jennifer says, I just watched a 7-year-old video of yours. So 2018. The one about your stalker who contacted your employer. It popped up in my recommendations for some reason. Oh, yeah, I've had a lot of weird things happen. Kind of in general, but like also because, well, I mean, I think putting myself out on YouTube, you get broadcasted out to more people than just a regular person living in society would. And occasionally you come across someone crazy and yeah. And I can't say for sure that that person who did that is the same person who, like, for example, contacted my college and impersonated me to my college professors, or people who have done weird things. Somebody one time applied on my behalf to a job, and I only found out about it when the job contacted me to like reject me for the job. And I replied, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not even in that city. I didn't apply for that job. So I've had a lot of weird stuff happen like that. And thankfully, you would think that this would happen the bigger that you get on YouTube. The more people you're exposed to, the more things like that would happen. But that's not been my experience. Both the weird stalker stuff like that and the hate comments only happened when I was very small. Like when I had 100 or 500 subscribers. It actually seems to be the other way. As I grow bigger and more people know about me, the less that I get that. I can't even tell you the last time anything super weird or like stalkery has happened. And then even when it does, I don't know usually if it came from YouTube. Like for example, I want to say it was yesterday or the day before, I got an email from crypto.com saying somebody tried to set up an account with my email address and they failed the verification. And they were in Nepal. So like who in Nepal has my email address? I don't know. But there is weird stuff like that that happens. But yeah, yes, and none of that has happened recently, and thankfully, I think my most recent stalking stuff that happened has subsided for now. Um, you guys were all here for that because you saw it in the chat. The person who would come in here and talk about one topic in particular. Oh yeah, and Jennifer, yeah, I don't know why that would randomly pop up. I've got such a long backlist of videos because I have been on YouTube on this channel for, what is this year? 11. Yeah, 11. 11 years. Oh, Case says, what's your Christmas dinner? Okay, so I live in the absolute middle of nowhere. If I was back home, I'd go to Bob Evans. All right, because Bob Evans has this thing where you can order the holiday plate. And on Thanksgiving and Christmas, I want to say it's like $18. It's kind of a lot, but you can order individual meals. And they're like, on those days, they'll only be serving like these two meals. They don't do any of their regular menu, but you can get like a ham one or a turkey one, I think. And that's what I normally do. And this is the first time that I've not lived in an area where there's a Bob Evans. So then I was like, well, I can do IHOP because they're open. So I did use Uber Eats to get IHOP. So you can imagine how expensive that was. But it was between that and just eating at the gas station. Like, they didn't even have hot food, but like getting a frozen meal from the gas station, or spend $50 to get IHOP. And I was like, I don't want to spend the money, but it's Christmas. I got to try to do something special for myself. I'm really bad at that. So I did. I ended up getting a poblano and something omelet. I normally get the Colorado, but they were out of it. So not a traditional Christmas dinner, but I got that omelet, and then it came with a side of buttered wheat toast, 2 tiny pieces of ham. I thought I was getting a whole slice. I would have ordered an additional like slice, but they were like each piece was like that big, like 2 of those. And then it also came though with a 3-stack of pancakes, and I got the cinnamon sugar ones. I ate that the next morning for breakfast because I mean that's really like 2 meals. So I did that, and yeah, that was pretty much it. I didn't do much of anything special, and that was it. And I don't know why, but on Christmas Day I was like, man, I really want poutine, and of course they're closed because it's yeah, because it's Christmas. But anyway, I'll probably stop there maybe tomorrow. Oh, Jennifer says, I have been with my family for Christmas. We celebrate on the 24th. I've heard of some people doing that. Is there like any particular reason you do the 24th rather than the 25th? Or is that like a your family thing, or is that like a Sweden thing? Because in the US, I've heard of families who they'll do like Christmas dinner on the 25th, but they'll open presents on the 24th. But in my family, we always did like on the day, and it was yeah, there would be like, well, you go to bed early Christmas Eve, and then we woke up, there would be presents there to open, and that'd be like the first thing you'd do in the morning. Yeah, Case, I could have told you that. Case says I got lobster egg Benedicts, but turned out not that good. From Sunset Grill. Picture looked good, but not in reality. I'm not familiar with Sunset Grill. Is that a chain or is that a local place to you? Um, I actually, I mean, it, I don't do seafood, so I mean, anything with lobster, I would have told you that was gross. But the I don't know exactly what eggs Benedict is. There's a lot of different styles of egg that I've not had. Um, I actually I like scrambled eggs, and I like you know, eggs over hard. It's not common, and when we had a chef in Indiana, when I would wake up for breakfast, they would do made to order breakfast, and so they'd always be like, "Hey, do you want eggs?" And even the chef wasn't familiar with how to make eggs over hard. Um, so I don't know. I must be the only person that eats that. Kay said, "Did you at least get vacation pay?" I did not. I'm salaried, so my pay is the same every paycheck. I do have some good news about my pay though. 2 days ago, right? It was the day after Christmas. My the national staff visitor that I had here was our senior director of finance, and I did talk to him about like my outstanding things that need to be reimbursed because I have several $100s. I mean, one of them is $300 itself. I have several $100s that I'm waiting for the company to reimburse. And so I talked to him about that, and he's just like, yeah, just send it all over an email. I'll take care of it. So I should have almost the equivalent of a Christmas bonus coming in, just in that I should finally get paid back a lot of money I've been waiting for. Um, well, been waiting to get paid back for. Let's see. Jennifer says, "Are you in contact with anyone in your family?" Not really. Yes. I'll explain that a little bit. So I don't know how to explain this exactly, um, but I'm not in contact right now with my dad. Um, I'm not really sure what's going on with him. He is still alive, as far as I know. Um, I have a cousin his age who is like his cousin, like they grew up together, and she sends me memes on Facebook Messenger, um, often, but like I don't know. That's the only contact I have with, because like she talks to my dad is what I mean. So like I'm kind of connected through there. My mom, um, that's complicated. I'm not going to get into it here. I don't, Jennifer, I don't mind telling you personally, but I just would rather not on the stream. But that's complicated. That's something I'm going to have to address later. Um, but so I guess the answer to that would be no, for her. And then, my stepbrother and my stepsister, we've never, it's not that we're estranged, we've just like never been close. They're much older than me, and they don't live anywhere nearby. My stepbrother lives in Florida. My stepsister, if she's not in prison, she's in Ohio. She's one of those people who just, I don't know, she like always was in trouble. Um, and I do think that she got into older age, like into her 40s and 50s. I do think that she got mostly straightened out. Um, but she's kind of not a person that can be trusted, I think, to sometimes she's okay and sometimes she's not. And I never really, my step family never really accepted me in, and I never accepted them. And it's been that way for the last 30 years. So I did reach out to my stepbrother last year about some family issues, and he was responsive to that. But like in general, we don't really have contact. I think he usually sends me a message for my birthday on Facebook, and that's about it. Um, Now, I do have a cousin, Susie, who is my mom's age. I want to say she's probably 72 or 73. I actually intended to reach out to her today. I haven't talked to her for a few months, but um, since I am planning on traveling home, I'm gonna try to meet up with her for dinner. She did tell me to let her know and that she would take me out to dinner somewhere. I've got some stuff I got to talk to her about. So um, the that's really the only family that I have. Um, so I do wish that well, let me say it this way. I wish that I had a family that I could interact with and, you know, have a home to go back to and have holidays to celebrate with people. It's not that I don't want that stuff. It's just um, I don't have a lot of family anyhow. Um, Basically, moms and dad's sides both, they come from really big families, but almost all of them died out before I was around. And the only thing left was like really distant cousins, second and third cousins that I went to high school with. That I was just never really close with, and then they've all moved away. Um, I think like I like that idea. Like I'm not like anti-family. It's just my family doesn't seem to be into the family thing very much. Um, so I don't know. I think that's part later on down the road too. I know I don't want kids, but like I know at some point when I'm in a relationship, I kind of would think of the person that I'm dating as that family unit, like that partnership, that's a family, even if there's no kids there, because I don't think you need kids to be a family. So I think, um, when I do have a partner in the future, I think that would be um, family enough for me, for what I'm looking for. But as of right now, yeah, I don't really. Um, and to be honest, I probably should have reached out to my little brother and like in my fraternity. I probably should have reached out to him for Christmas, and I didn't. He just moved to London, so I'm not sure if he's still using his American phone number, but I can reach out to him other places, um, like social media. And I probably should do that because I would like to come see him at some point. Um, oh yeah, uh, Dragon Shores. I'll get down to your comment. I'm a little behind, but yeah, everybody's saying they didn't get a notification, so I'll have to check the settings. Not sure if it's a me issue or a YouTube issue. Got so much hair on my face. All right, and everybody, I know my hair is ridiculous right now. I have an appointment on January 6th to get it cut, so it'll be okay. Jennifer says in Sweden, Christmas is celebrated on the 24th. Huh. Okay. I'll have to look into that. I I've never heard of it officially being on the 24th. I just knew in the US some families will do stuff on the 24th. I'll have to look into that and see like why that's the case. Case says Sunset Grill is a chain in US and Canada. Yeah, I'll have to look that up after the stream too. You guys, a lot of times after we have these conversations, I'll go back through the live chat and like follow up and like look up things that you guys mentioned. Because I don't think I've ever heard of the Sunset Grill. But Oh yeah, so Dragon Shores says didn't get a go live alert. Lucky to just randomly open the app. What's up? Yeah. No, now I don't know what's going on with the notifications, but I'm glad you're here. Um, so let's see. Oh, and Jennifer commented. She said, "Have you achieved your goals for 2025? And what are your goals for 2026?" Yes. That's the easiest answer. So basically, here's where I'm at. I promise, I'm working on that student loan video. I just got slammed with work stuff and then planning this trip. But I'm really trying to get that video up soon, and that'll be my update. So you'll know what's going on with the student loans. And then once that's done, I can do what I should do at the end of the year and the beginning of the next year, and that's the 2025 financial goals review, which is what you're asking about, and then the 2026 financial goals. But yeah, to like briefly answer your question, yes, I don't remember off the top of my head what all my 2025 goals were that I set in the a video at the beginning of the year, but I know, for example, one of the big ones was emergency fund, save an emergency fund. Um, I'm at a little over $2,500 right now, and my goal was 1,000. So yeah, I did that times 2.5. I did also save. This was not even a goal, but I saved an additional 1,000 in a separate fund, which is essentially a sinking fund. I call it my HSA because since I don't have health insurance, I'm not eligible to have an actual HSA account. So I just made one myself, and I just have $1,000 sitting in a sinking fund for medical expenses. And I was trying to, I was trying to set up an appointment. I'm overdue to have my teeth cleaned at the dentist, and I was trying to get that done when I come home in January. And I don't think it's going to happen because I've reached out to the dentist a couple times and they haven't responded. So it looks like I'm going to have to schedule that for April over spring break. But that'll get paid out of that money that's already set aside. So, so I did meet that goal. Um, I did meet the goal of paying off all of my past due invoices from the lawsuit. Um, I can go into more detail about that on the video, but yeah, those are paid off. And I've started paying off my past due taxes. So, I've probably haven't made a huge dent. I think I've paid it down like maybe $400, but I'm working on paying off 2023's taxes, and I'm making progress on it. I can't remember any more off the top of my head what the goals were for 2025, but yeah, those I've done pretty well at. And I will say that like I'm not where I need to be to feel comfortable, but I am definitely more stable than I was a year ago, or 2 years ago. So I just got to keep this up for probably another year, and I'll be in a really good place. Oh, and you said, what are your goals for 2026? So, if I'm being honest, I haven't actually spent a lot of time thinking about it. I've been overwhelmed with trying to get all the other videos that lead up to that one done. But I will say, what I can think off the top of my head of what I want to focus on in 2026. I was going to start putting more money toward investing. Well, like investing, but through my retirement account. And that would have tax advantages because I get to write some of that off. And then the difference between what's withheld and then what what I actually have to pay in taxes after my deductions, like that would get refunded, which then that would go to that past due tax debt and pay that off faster. That was the plan. But as you guys know, student loan payments are going to be resuming. No one knows when, but probably sometime in 2026. So I can't really do that goal because I'm gonna have to start paying more per month for student loans. So the other goals, though, I'm gonna continue saving, just emergency fund type of savings. Um, I don't think there's a set amount I want to save that to, but I'm just gonna continue saving toward that. Uh, and these aren't so much goals, but they're places that I should be financially by the end of 2026. I'm currently on a payment plan to pay off the past due debt on one of my credit cards, and that is scheduled to be paid off November 1st, 2026. That'll be my last payment. So that is a $288 per month payment. That's a huge chunk. So what I'll do, the plan is, once that's paid off, I will be switching. That 288 will then at that point either one, go toward paying off the past tax amount, or two, start being paid as an extra, um, yeah, like as an extra payment toward my smaller private student loan to get that paid off quicker. Also, you guys don't know this, but I've been making extra credit card payments, and instead of just paying the minimums on each one, there's one of the credit cards that I pay the same every month, but a little bit more. Like I think this month, it just came out today, the payment did. I think it's $29 was the minimum payment. I've been paying 37. So I'm making a little bit of extra payments on that. But the other one, I've been paying a set $100 per paycheck. So just straight $100, like knocking it down. It's at 789 right now. And if I can get these reimbursements from work by the end of the year, that'll be almost completely wiped out by the reimbursements. Then that's got to go over to the other credit card. But sometime within 2026, with me making monthly payments and these extra payments of $200 a month, which is $100 per paycheck, sometime in 2026, the credit cards will be paid off in full as well. So you've got the past due credit card that'll be paid off in full. You've got the two other credit cards that'll be paid off in full. And from here on out, I don't need to use credit cards anymore because I have savings. And it's essentially, if I have to pull something out of savings, it's the same thing as using the credit card, but it's 0% interest, and I can pay myself back. So that will help me. Those will all be paid off. And once those are paid off, like I said, that extra $200 per month will be put either toward taxes or toward extra payments on student loans. That means there's a $288 payment and then a $200 payment. So that's a $488 per month extra payment toward that smaller student loan. Oh, and also one major project that I hope is going to happen this year. Well, this year being 2026. I think that I'm going to be able to refinance one of my student loans. So I have been rebuilding my credit. That's one of the many things I've been juggling over the past year and a half. And I've gone from my credit score being in the 500s again after being homeless and not being able to pay stuff to right now I'm at 690 something. I'm gonna wait until I get to 700 at least. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till I get to 700 at least, preferably 720, and then I'm gonna try to refinance. Interest rates keep dropping, which is a great time to refinance because they're already lower. So right now, they just changed again, but I want to say my student loans are 8.5% and 7%. So the 7% loan is the one I'm going to try to change because it's a lower amount. There's one student loan that's like it's $43,000, and there's another one that's 15. With my credit history recently, even though I will have built my credit score back up, I don't know that I can get financed for $43,000 to refinance it. So I'm going to go for the $15,000 one first. And then all those extra payments that I'm making, like the $125 a month I'm paying on it now, plus the $488 that'll be the snowballed extra payments, will go even farther if the interest rate is lower. So I'm really going to try to get that done. And at that point, it'll take 2 years to pay off that $15,000 loan. Oh, and you guys just act like you didn't hear any of that, because I'm still going to make the video about the 2026 goals. Those will be in there. Plus, once I actually sit down and think about what I'm doing, like, those will be more developed. Plus, there'll be some other ones. Jennifer says, well done to you for paying all that off. Yeah, thank you. Things have not been comfortable financially. I'm doing well with this job. It's just, I live like I'm broke because all of my money is so tied up in either going to savings or retirement or paying off debt. So I really have to live like I'm poor, because I kind of am poor, because all that money's tied up. So it does not feel like I'm making progress, but yeah. If I can just get to about August or September of 2026, living the lifestyle I do now, things will be much easier, because that's about when all the credit cards get paid off. And I'll have that room to make all these extra payments toward other debt. Jennifer says, do you like the job and the living situation you have now? I would say it's fine. And for me to say that a job is fine is kind of a big deal. I've had such terrible jobs. I've had such terrible luck with jobs. There are things I don't like about it, and there are things that I do. And I would say, I mean, February will be a year, and it's been a long time since I've stayed at a job for a year. Especially a job that's not self-employment, that I'm actually employed by someone. And my plan is currently, I'm going to get through this school year, which will be through May of 2026. And then at the very least, I'm going to do it for one more year, which will be the 26-27 school year. That'll be, I mean, I think I'll be in such a great financial position at that time, because I will have paid most things off, and have a lot of savings and other things figured out by then. At that point, I would have been here like 2.5 years. And I mean, that'll look good for me to have that solid employment for that long. But it'll also be good for me financially. So that's kind of where I'm thinking right now, to at least stay that long, and maybe not even leave after that, depending on what happens. But my goal is for 2026, I would like to get another job on top of this. This one's pretty flexible, and a lot of other people who do it also have full-time jobs. So, like, I make $37,000, but then I have the meal plan and I have all these stipends and stuff. So I'm really making $40,000 or more, plus free housing, free food. And if I was to work a full-time job on top of this and do it remotely, from this house or from my co-working space here, I could be bringing in $80,000 to $90,000 a year, with the extra like $40,000 to $50,000 on top of this, just really being extra. Like, I wouldn't have, I'm already paying my expenses with what I'm making. So if I could work a full-time job around this, then I mean, on the one hand, I wouldn't have time for much at all. But on the other hand, I'd be making so much extra money that I could pay for stuff like that. Like I could pay for meal prep for when the chef's not here. I could pay somebody to come in and clean my apartment. Um, like instead of me doing my legal stuff, I could pay a lawyer to do it. Um, the things that are taking my time right now away from me that could be used for working and making more money could also be solved by making that money and then using it to pay other people to do what I don't have time to do, is essentially what I'm saying. And so that's something I'm looking into, but it would have to be the right fit. I have to make sure it's something that this job works around and the other job will work around this job. So I am kind of on the lookout for that. And oh, in the living situation, I guess it's fine. I mean, my apartment's not like super nice, but it's also the nicest of all the house director suites I've had. Um, it is absurdly cold here. Um, I don't like that, but so it's like, I don't know. It was supposed to get down to 8 degrees tonight. So what is that? 8 Fahrenheit would be, wait, 32 Fahrenheit is 0 Celsius. I have no clue. Uh, um, it's negative something Celsius. But so my apartment that I have is very small, and it's not, like I said, it's not very nice, but it's free, and I make do with it because it's free. Like that, I can forgive a lot because of that. Um, so I guess it's fine. The guys are kind of loud and annoying, but I deal with that again a lot of times because it's free. I do have, um, I have noise canceling earmuffs that I sometimes wear, depending on what they're doing in the house. And so it's got active noise canceling, and I can also Bluetooth link it to the TV so I can actually hear the TV. Um, and then I do have the co-working space, so if they're being really loud, I can just leave and I have some place to go, especially if I need to work on something. So that brings my stress level down a lot about the whole living situation. So I would say that like it's just okay. Like it's manageable, tolerable. Um, of course, I prefer to have my own place that's nicer and bigger, and I don't have 34 annoying roommates, but you know, um, again, it's free. So, um, Jennifer says, when do you think you could be totally debt free? Okay, so it's gonna be a lot sooner than anyone realizes, even sooner than I realized. And realistically, here's where I'm looking. Right now, I have 3 credit cards. I have my Discover card, my Big Capital One, and my Small Capital One. My Big Capital One was charged off, but that I'm making payments on paying off the full amount on it. That'll be completed on November 1st, 2026. And by the time that's done, I will also have paid the balances off on the other 2 credit cards. So I'll be completely credit card debt free in November 2026. And I know I'll stay that way because now I don't have to put anything on the credit card because I have savings. So if I need anything, I can just use the savings instead. And like I said, it's like using a credit card, but it's 0% interest. So credit card debt free by next year. Student loan debt is going to come in two phases. I believe I can get the small loan, the small of the two private loans, paid off in 2029. And if I get this extra job, well, I can probably pay it off in like a year, like 2027 by then. But 2029 probably, with the extra payments, if I don't get a full-time job on top of what I'm doing now. Then the last thing that I have to tackle, well, not the last thing, but in my mind, the last thing I have to tackle is that $43,000 loan. And I'm gonna keep, just as my credit gets better, I'm just gonna keep refinancing it. Keep refinancing it at a lower rate and throw all the money I have, snowball all these payments after I've paid everything else off into that, and pay that thing off as soon as possible. I don't know. Actually, hold up a second. I might be able to get you an estimate. I have a spreadsheet where I roughly track this. My computer's moving really slowly, but we will try to figure this out. Maybe. This might work. This might cooperate. You gotta realize my laptop's from 2012, so it's struggling over here. Nope, not that. Okay, we got the spinning beach ball of death. This is gonna take a minute. Okay, I will get to that as we get to that. As we're waiting on that, there's one final thing, and that is probably, this is gonna be 2037, is gonna be the final thing. And the reason it's gonna take that long, even if I can get, let's say in the next 5 years, I have everything paid off, even that huge $43,000 student loan. So I'm looking at next year for all the credit card debt, 2027 to 2029, depending on the $15,000 private loan. And then I would say, yeah, maybe 2035 for that one last loan, that huge one, the 43,000. But then I have my federal student loan debt, like the government issued loans. I have about $32,000. But the thing about the government loans is that they are forgiven after a certain period of time. You make payments for, in my case, 25 years. And right now, I'm at 13 years of that 25 years, which means that I have to make payments until 2037. And I am not in any way trying to pay those off. I'm just going to make the minimum payments possible until 2037. But I think in my mind, I will be debt-free just because I know that those are going to be canceled. So next year is credit cards. A year or two after that will be the small student loan. And then it'll take me a few years to pay off that monster $43,000 private loan. But after that, I'm probably going to have $100 or $200 per month loan payment until 2037 for the federal loans, and then they'll be forgiven after that. The only other thing, in addition to everything that I've just said, is that I am paying off my past taxes. and that's from 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Since I've been employed in 2025, I should have already paid all the taxes. Like it should have already come out. So if there's anything that's left over to pay, it should be pretty simple to pay. Right now, I am paying off the federal debt from 2023. That's what I'm on a payment plan for. So while I'm paying off all these other things that I already just mentioned, I'm also paying $121 a month to the IRS to pay this stuff off. So I'll be there. And as far as a date, I mean, absolutely by 2037, all of this will be paid off. And then that remaining federal debt will be paid. But I'm thinking it's going to be closer to 2030 for everything else. So in 5 years, that's a really long way of me saying, within 5 years, of my opinion, I'll be debt free, because all I'll have left is the $32,000 in federal loans that I know will be forgiven. Okay, and I do have this up here. Oh, actually, okay, I guess my big loan is not as much as I thought it was. I'm paying it down. Okay, so the last I checked it was December 1st. Is that right? Okay, yeah, I guess it must have been. December 1st was the last time I tracked it. It was 41,540. So it's actually 2,000 less than what I thought it was. If I pay just the minimum payment on it, and I don't refinance it, and I don't make any extra payments, it would be paid off in February of 2033. So that's still, what, 4 years before the federal loans are forgiven? But of course, I am going to make extra payments to it, and I am going to get a lower interest rate. So that will be paid off, again, closer to 2030. So really, I think realistically, 2030, I will have all debt paid off, which is in 5 years. And that, I can't believe it's going to be that soon. And that will make my life so much easier. I mean, what's been so difficult for me after college is just, I have so much every month in payments that it's so hard to make that much money. And I'll be able to work just one job and make way more than enough than I need to just get by. So yeah. And of course, I mean, I got to build wealth too, so I'm not ruling that out. I know, like this money needs to be set aside for savings and investments and things like that now as well. It's not just like do whatever I want to with it. But yeah, that's kind of where things are. So I think I haven't really ever calculated it before like that. I just knew it was coming a lot sooner than I realized. But yeah, I think 2030, within 5 years, I'll be completely debt free. Oh, and Jennifer said, give us a tour of your apartment, maybe. Yes, I will do that. So here's the thing. I was going to do that last summer, and things happened, and that didn't happen. I will absolutely give you guys a tour, as long as you promise one thing. Don't judge me too harshly on the apartment, because remember, I don't get to pick out the furniture. I've rearranged my apartment a couple different times. I think I've got it laid out the best layout now, with the best feng shui. It's as good as it's gonna get, because I have to use the furniture that's provided. So please don't judge me looking at that and thinking like, oh my God, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Like he can't design a house. But and like, it's not the furniture I would have bought, but I got to do the best I can with what I've got there. And for some reason, my office slash living room slash kitchen slash laundry room, which is all one room, that and my bedroom are kind of like, they're pretty plain and they're a little bit worn down. And then the bathroom is like super nice. So that's good, I guess. But anyway, so yes, I absolutely will make that this summer. What I will probably do is I'll just start at the front door. I'll be like, here's my house. Here's the living room, the other parts of the house, dining facility, and then we'll go into my apartment. And yeah, you guys can see that. Just keep in mind, you guys will see how and where I live, but don't judge me for not making better choices about the furniture, because I definitely could make the space be more efficient if I was able to do that. That, and I don't want to put a ton of money. Like, I really need to get a rug for my living room, but I also kind of don't want to, because I'm like, I don't want to put any money into living here. But okay, so Jennifer says, how has your life changed? How has your life goals changed the past 10 years? I know my goals are not the same as they were 10 years ago. Well, let's see, 10 years ago was 2015. Well, a couple things. So, I think in a lot of ways, my goals some of them are still the same. Because in 2015, I was still working on paying off debt. Was very focused financially, and I still am. I will say, in 2015, I was very much in the mindset of working up the corporate ladder, and finding a good company and staying there for a long time. I'm not interested in that now. Like, in my current position, I don't ever want to move up to a higher position. Like, this is where I'm going to stay. I've got ambitions of my own, like my businesses and YouTube, that I want to pursue, and having higher levels of responsibility in a company would interfere with that. I think I'm a little bit more focused on saving now rather than strictly debt payoff, because I've realized that I get into this pattern that I do, and I've done it throughout the years, but I'll get into a time where things aren't going well in my life, and I'll rack up credit card debt, and I'll blow through any savings I have. And then when I get a nice job again, I have to spend the whole time I'm there trying to pay off all those debts. And my focus has always been on paying those debts, but then inevitably I'll lose that job. And then I have to start racking up credit card debt again to have the money to get by until I get the next good job. So I want to focus less on paying off debt while still doing it, but focusing less on it, and instead focusing more on building wealth, like saving money, so that in the future, when the next bad thing happens with my job, I'm living off savings at 0% interest rather than credit cards. I think that would be really beneficial. So I'm just trying to balance that out of like still paying off debt, but also putting more money towards savings rather than putting every extra dollar I get toward paying debt. And let's see, what else since 2015? I mean, I have changed a lot as a person because I have been through a lot in the last 10 years. It, I wouldn't necessarily say it's good. I kind of feel like I've kind of been, I've had a lot of trauma, but um, I don't know. I feel like that probably reflects in things somehow too. Um, I think I was still looking for a lot of, I don't know how to say this because I want to say I was looking for like a lot of adventure and like getting out and doing things. But then when I think about that, it's not that I'm not doing that now. It's just I'm looking for more of a peaceful, safe, permanent place to be. Um, Maybe once I have that, I can branch out and do fun, exciting things. But I guess what I'm saying is in 2015, I was less concerned with finding like my permanent place where, you know, I would be living and establishing stability, um, than going out and having experiences, experiencing new things and traveling. I still want to do those things, but I want to do them now from a place of personal stability. And I'm not really talking financially. I'm talking more of maybe a residence or, you know, a like a family or something like that where um, I kind of have connections and roots, and I don't know. It almost gives me more stability to be able to branch out and travel and uh, do fun things. I don't know if that one made any sense. But yeah, I would say over the 10 years, some of my goals have stayed the same. Um, but I'm wondering about you. You said that your goals were not this, your goals are not the same as they were 10 years ago. Um, so what are you focusing on now? Like, what are you shooting toward for your goals? And then like those goals that you had 10 years ago, did you like how did you do on those? Did you achieve them? And that is the last comment for now. I'm gonna get a refill. I will be right back. back. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for sticking around. Jennifer says, well, I wanted to marry the guy I was with then, but we broke up after 9 years together. So now my goals are different. I'm not sure what I want to do now. Maybe some travel and do well financially. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. And I think everyone should have financial stability. I think that's given, no matter what your situation. And travel's always fun. I think, and again, I think that's one of those things where, sort of no matter your situation, travel is a positive. So that's a good thing. And I do get you. I mean, you know what I've been through with the relationship stuff. I was basically in the same position. I was. Did you say you're good? Yeah, you guys were together for 9 years. We were also together for 9 years. And I mean, yeah, we were engaged. I was planning on getting married. So you're like the exact situation as me. So I do get it. And I think I kind of, I'm assuming this, but I think I kind of get to is like my outlook and I guess definition even of relationships has changed after that, just because my relationship fell apart. It's not as simple anymore as it used to be. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what to say other than I know that's tough, and I know it because I went through it too. But I think that traveling and building like financial stability, that those are good goals, and they're good goals no matter your relationship status. So I think, I don't know. I think you're okay. Even if you're just wondering about what to do, I think you're still doing the right thing. And the relationship stuff, whatever you do with that, yeah, that'll work out in time. So, but I do think you should travel. And I do think you should come to America. But I get it. I get the financial part of it too. So I'm actually, hopefully, maybe, we'll see. I might be coming to London. So my little brother in my fraternity, he just moved there. Well, actually, I think he's actually been there for about a year now. But I just found out in the spring that he moved there. And he always wanted me to come visit him when he lived in Minneapolis. And with all the stuff I've had going on the last few years, I haven't been able to. So now he wants me to come visit him, and he's living in London. So, oh, well, you asked earlier about my goals. One of my goals for 2025 was to get my passport. And I haven't, but that's because I've been having an issue with my address for them to like mail my passport to me. So in the, my hair's annoying right now. In the spring, they're changing the law here in New Hampshire, so I can actually get my stuff switched over here, and then I can just have them mail it to the address I live at. So hopefully sometime after February 1st, 2026, I'll be able to get my passport. And then I'll be able to go to London so they can visit him. So normally I wouldn't travel like that, but it's a combination of I don't have to pay for lodging because I can stay with him. And um, I have a reason to travel because I have someone to come visit. So I don't feel like I'm just, I don't know, like spending money for no reason just to go somewhere. Um, and the flights are super cheap. I live in Boston. Well, technically, I live in Boston. I live in New Hampshire, but I live in the Boston metro area. But I can fly out of the Boston airport, and there are direct flights to London every day, and they're pretty cheap. Some of them are actually just as cheap as flying within the US, so um, it is within the scope of possibility. Oh, nice, nice. Okay, good. Awesome. Um, I, okay, I'm glad you're coming. Um, which, by the way, I sent you, I don't know if you got it, but I did send you an email maybe a couple months ago about that. It was your like, business email where I emailed you before. Um, but yeah, let me know when you're going to be here. And yeah, that's awesome. Okay. I didn't know you were putting money away for it, but that's good. Um, I guess also once you get that planned, I can maybe, once you think you have enough money, I can maybe show you some ways to like save money while you're here too. So maybe you don't have to spend as much as you think. Um, oh, okay. You're gonna negotiate more vacation days, so you don't have to take unpaid time off. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. My situation, like I don't get vacation days, but I'm also salaried, so it kind of just I'll push work off to the next day so I can have a day off, kind of thing. Um, but I make it work. Like when I drive home, I have my one-on-one meeting with my manager on the 8th, and I'm actually going to be driving home. So I'm literally just going to have to stop at like a Starbucks and use the Wi-Fi on the iPad in the car so that I can get on Zoom for my meeting. So like here in the US, like a lot of us don't really get time off, and even when you do, like I said, I worked on Christmas, and because even when I tried to take a day off, I still had a couple things I had to do. But even though I'm technically on PTO, which is paid time off, um, for like that week in January, I still have to be in meetings. So as I'm driving around, I have to kind of like stop and find a place to do that. Oh, all right. Jennifer said I did not get your email. We'll check the junk mail. I don't know how long ago it was. It probably was like 2 months ago. So it might not be in there anymore. I literally, I'll just tell you here. I literally just said, um, because we had been talking about you coming to the U.S. before. I literally just said, like, let me know when you're here. I don't know if I was clear before, but I want to meet you when you're here. So that was it. Um, I just was thinking about it, and I was like, we talked about it, and I'm not sure I ever actually told her directly that, but that was that was what I said. Um, and I wasn't too worried about it when I didn't get a response. I just thought you were like, okay, yeah, sure. um, but that's the plan. So if you're here in 2027, I'm assuming I'm probably still going to be here in the Boston area. And once you get closer, I know I sent you that list of places. I can help you save some money. And maybe once you have your places narrowed down, um, help you with um, figuring out like what order to go places. But yeah, I think for you, the U.S. is going to be fun. I mean, obviously it's huge and there's so many different things here. Um, I'm sure that you're going to find a lot of stuff here. And oh, and then you mentioned New Zealand too. Um, yeah, I think for like the natural stuff, New Zealand is great. Um, I now I'm not like a big nerd, so like I'm not really into like the Lord of the Rings, but I have seen clips from the movies and they were filmed there. Um, so I will um, so yeah, I'll have to think on that. But the New Zealand thing, I'm not super familiar with it. I mean, I know where it is and I know like a little bit about it, but I don't know um, other than the things that I've seen where they've used it for like filming locations for movies. I'm not too familiar. If I were to travel overseas myself, like if I would just be like, okay, like you got unlimited time and money, where would you travel? Um, I'm not sure where I'd go. I'm really not sure. Um, I do think I would probably go somewhere in Europe first. That'd probably be my first choice. But where, I couldn't really tell you. I think the choice is kind of being made for me, and that I'm probably going to London because my little is there. But outside of that, there's a lot of stuff that I'd like to see, to just travel around and see different places. Um, and in particular, one place I really would like to see is Iceland. Um, there is a movie called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and it's based on a short story by an author that's actually I've actually been to his house. It's in Columbus, Ohio, and the but the movie's cool too, and there's a big part of it where he goes to Iceland, and I think I would love it there. But anyway, oh, Case said, used to have a girlfriend in USA for 3 years, but we broke up because she got immature. I was supposed to go the other direction, man. Um, you're supposed to get more mature as you grow. Um, so how did that work then? Were you guys like mostly online, or was it, did you guys like take turns going back and forth to visit each other? And then Case asked, how's the dating game so far? I'm not doing it. Um, I mean, I'm open to it. I'm not actively trying to date. Um, so we'll just, we'll just see about how it goes. And yeah. Um, Jennifer says, yes, you should do a meetup with all of us who has been following you for a long time. I'm assuming most of your followers are in the US. I believe so. Um, you know, what's ironic though is I think that most of my followers are in the US, but most of the people who have been around the longest and who are that I know the best, the people that are always here on the live streams, I think most are not in US. Because I know you're in Sweden, Case is in Canada. Um, there's Sandra who's usually here. She is in somewhere in Asia. I think she I think she's like from France or something, but then um now I know there's one person. I can think of two people who are one in Kentucky, one in like kind of out west. So yeah, I mean kind of, but I would agree with you that I think it's mostly people in the US, but then the people who are like most involved who would be probably, I don't know, probably more likely to want um to meet up. to be like that invested in it. I think they're from all over. But yeah, we could do that. What I could do is I've never done a meetup before. I've actually gone to other YouTubers meetups, um, but I've never done one myself. So what I can do is once you get your plans down, um, we can coordinate. And yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, we we'll have to figure out what we do, but we'll just set something up, do like a public event, and then set up, you know, whoever wants to come, set a time and place, and we can all just hang out as a group. Um, yeah, so that way, maybe you'll get to meet some of the other people that you talk to in the streams as well. Um, but we'll just have to figure out when you're going to be here, what city we're going to do it in, because I know you're planning on traveling around. Um, and we'll just open it up to everybody. Um, I mean, I think more than likely we'll probably have a small group. I'd say like more than likely there'll probably be like 10 or fewer people who are that dedicated to coming and meeting in person. But because it is a small group, we'll get to just like, sit and talk together and maybe go do some kind of activity together. But it'd be good to get to know everybody. Case said online most of the time, long distance, and we visit each other from time to time, 1 to 6 months at a time. Okay. 6 months. Did you have to get, did she have to get like a visa for that? Because I was looking into something. I thought if you're traveling from the US, most places you could only go for 90 days. Was it 90 days without a visa, I think? Maybe I'm probably thinking of London because I was looking at going to visit my little there. But, oh, yeah, Case, okay, got a visa. I don't know anything about that process. I mean, obviously, I'm nowhere near it. I need to get my passport first. Um, but I am definitely planning on traveling around once I get my passport. My job does make that difficult, but what I should be able to do is over the summer is if I have somebody fill in for me, I can actually have um, it. If I can have somebody fill in for me, I can take a decent amount of time off. Like, I do technically have unlimited PTO. It's just really hard to take. So if I'm available for meetings and phone calls when I'm overseas, and if I get all my work done ahead of time and then have somebody cover me, um, I could probably take a month off in the summer and maybe 2 weeks off during Christmas break, probably. Let's see. Oh, Case said you should go passport, bro. Get enough USD and go abroad. You would live like a king. So, well, I don't know that I'm going to be a passport bro for what I think you're saying passport bro for. But I'm getting a passport. Um, but I I understand that like America is expensive, and that's part of why I've struggled so much. But yes, if I can save up enough money and get all my debts paid off so that my monthly expenses aren't that high, um, and especially if I have money coming in, whether it be from YouTube or working remotely online or whatever, um, I would be able to a lot more comfortably somewhere else. I've looked at different places, and I have a couple of prospects, but I don't think they're the places that you're going to think of because um, I'm not trying to go to like the Philippines or like Vietnam or something like that. And I'm not going there for girls. But what I've looked at two places, and there are some like secondary options too. But places that have a much better standard of living for someone who would have that US dollar income coming in for much cheaper. And I gotta say, right now, my number one choice is Latvia. So I haven't actually talked to you guys about that, but that is a possibility. I might be going to the USSR. Um, that'll be a few years down the road. There's a lot to figure out before that, but it is one of the countries that is in Europe, and it's fairly easy to get residency. You get a 1 year digital nomad visa, and then you can renew it for a year. You can actually get permanent residency for fairly cheap, and it has everything that we don't have, right? Like if you live in Riga, which is where more than half the population of the country lives, the capital, that's where the airport is. Easy to come in and out. The town is nice. They have literally like a mall, like an American style mall. They have an IKEA. They have like everything American, whether it be like Burger King or Pizza Hut. Like they have everything. It's just like America. And I know some people look at Latvia and they're like, because like it's kind of run down. I mean, the town I would be living in is better. The rest of the country is pretty bad. But also, I'm from West Virginia, so people think that like, oh, well, you're gonna get over there and you're gonna see like, it's in such bad shape, and like, I'm from West Virginia. The former Soviet Union is like paradise. People don't understand that. I'm not from that America. I am from poor America. So, I mean, yeah. And you have socialized medicine. You have all the things that I'm missing out on now. And yes, Case, you were right. They do speak English in Latvia. I mean, technically they don't. Technically, it's not like the official language, but they don't expect you to speak Latvian because everybody speaks English. So Case said, yeah, but in Asian countries, it's easier for you to get an English teaching job. That's true. I could do that. You go to European countries, most of them speak English already. Yeah. I mean, that's good for me. Now, I'm not saying that I wouldn't learn the language somewhere, but it's a possibility that if I go to like Latvia or one of these other countries that I've looked at, that's a possibility like that, where they're in Europe and have a better standard of living than the US, but yet it would cost way, way less. I might not be there permanently. Like I might be there for a few years to take advantage of that economic situation and be able to, kind of get myself more stabilized financially and then move to like a better country, possibly. Kind of just depends. But until I'm settled somewhere, I wouldn't learn the language. Because I don't want to like move to Latvia, learn Latvian, and then move somewhere else and then have to move and like learn another language. So yeah, if I get settled somewhere, I definitely learn the language. And I'm fairly good with languages anyway. I don't speak any other language fluently, but I speak enough Spanish to get by. And German was my second language. I'm pretty good with Latin. So between Spanish and Latin, I can also do French, Italian, Romanian, um, and my Greek is fairly okay because I learned ancient Greek through fraternity. So I think any languages that are connected to that would be fairly easy for me to learn. So I've been mentioning Latvia because it just seems like the best choice right now, but there are some negatives. There's like, it is kind of run down, and people talk about that. Although I don't think that'd be an issue for me. The other thing though, is it is so cold. I know I'm like testing that out right now, being in Boston in winter. And then the secondary one, like right now, it's almost like a tie. Like Latvia might be a little bit higher, but my second choice is Georgia, which is also very English speaking, very tech forward. It's like a lot of digital nomads go there and work. And the advantage it has over Latvia is it's actually warm there. But it is farther from the rest of Europe. That's kind of the downside. And it takes a good bit more effort to try to actually fly there, to get back and forth between the US and there. Now, I've looked at other places too. I looked at Malta for a while. They're English speaking because they used to be a British colony, but I forget what it was, but I ran into some issues there. I've also looked into the DAFT, which is the Dutch-American Friendship Treaty, because technically Americans can live in the Netherlands without a visa. I've also looked at Svalbard. I don't know if I can do that. It's technically part of Norway, but it's very cold. It's in the Arctic Circle. You have to fight polar bears, and honestly, I could probably put up with all of that if it wasn't expensive. But the positive thing is you don't have to have a visa to go there, and you can live there indefinitely. So let's see. Case said, quick question, why do you think Latvia girls are better? I guess they would be better than USA, but are they really better than Thailand or Vietnam or Asian girls? They would be more devoted to you. Imagine going to Latvia and all the girls behave more or less the same as US girls. I think a cultural chance is better, especially so many people are doing that already. So you are walking on a path that other people already tried instead of going to Latvia. Oh, you mean, okay, going to Europe. No, no, okay. So like here's the whole thing. I'm not going any of these places for girls. Like whether it be Latvia, like I'm not like I'm going there because it's cheap and I can have a much better standard of living there. And maybe that's just for a few years with that easier standard of living, which gets me, financially rebuilt and stabilized faster. And then, I don't know if I want to come back to the US. We'll see about that. But maybe going somewhere better, like a better country. Or maybe I like it. Maybe I stay there. Maybe I'm like, yeah, this is just like where I grew up, I'm all right here. But yeah, like whether it be going to Latvia or any of these other places, like I'm not going there for women. And I really don't know anything about, I don't know any. I don't even know what a Latvian woman looks like. I don't know what people in Latvia look like. I watched YouTube videos, but I can't picture that. Um, but anyway, yeah, and it's the same thing where I said Svalbard, and you're like, yeah, let's go to the Arctic for girls. I'm really not. Like, if I would go there, again, I'm not trying to meet women there. Um, I could imagine the dating there probably is not good, but um, but again, I'm not really even factoring that in when I go these places. Um, I would just be going, I guess, for my own benefit, and yeah, pretty much that. Uh, I mean, you basically live in the Arctic, right? Like you're in Canada, so um, I don't know how much different Svalbard would be. I don't. By the way, if anybody actually knows what I'm talking about, I have no idea if that's even how it's pronounced. I just keep seeing it written down, and I have a bad habit of sounding something out and then using that terminology, not remembering that I never looked up the actual pronunciation, and then just using my own made up pronunciation and it being totally wrong. Yeah, but Case, I mean, I know that you're looking for somebody. Um, I don't know that I'd recommend Svalbard for that, but I mean, Latvia is like a normal place with a normal amount of people, so yeah, you could try there. I mean, you do the Asia thing too if you want, but um, I don't know. Primarily, I was going places that were just good economic opportunities for me. Like, just get a place that it just doesn't cost that much for a little while. So I can just kind of build myself up without having so much in the way of like bills and stuff. So I don't know, it's just a possibility. And I mean, I'm not looking to move anytime soon, unless somebody just offers up a place, but like I am trying to get my debt paid off mostly here, get my income online up before I go and travel to any place like that. Um, Case says, well, I plan to get a girl in Asian country and bring her back to Canada. So living there temporarily is not a problem. Don't need to learn language. And then Jennifer says, Case, I do not want to argue with you, but I would like to inform you that there are devoted great women, not only in Asian countries. Yeah. Um, Case, I guess, no, I get you on the language if you're only there temporarily. Um, I mean, I feel like it would be like 90-day fiance, right? I know that's an American standard because our K1 fiance visas, you have to get married within 90 days. But I mean, I'm sure Canada has something like that. Um, and I mean, that's fine if you want to do that. But I kind of agree with Jennifer too that that's partly why I'm not worried about like where I might move to because I I feel like that's the case. Like anywhere I move, there would be someone decent. Um, but you know, like Jennifer's in a Western country, and she's saying she's. Kay says, "Yeah, I know that, but the chance of that is not great. That's like saying there are sunken ships in the oceans with tons of unclaimed gold bars, but it's hard to get one." Well, oh, if there was a nice girl who was devoted in USA, she's probably already claimed. I mean, there's some truth to that. I mean, at least at our age. I don't know how old you are, Case. I'm 40. Yes, in the US at least, I would say most of them probably already are married if they were, good good people. It does kind of tend, you have higher chances of getting something other than than being good, because yeah, a lot of the good ones have been wiped up. But 38, okay. Yeah, so basically same boat. So like I get what you're saying, but I also think Jennifer's correct. That like, well, I'm okay. I'm not a woman, obviously, but I can use myself as an example. Like, I think I'm like really good in relationships. Like, I'm really good to my partner, um, and I think that in general, I'm a pretty decent person. Like, I might not quite have my life together right now because I'm rebuilding, but in general, I've had my life together in the past, and you know, I'm I'm not on drugs. I haven't been arrested. Plus, I'm like slightly successful in some things. So I think I have a decent amount going for me, but like all of that has happened, um, and I'm not like, I guess I'm saying I have all of that, um, and the reason that I'm still single at 40, despite having that, is a somewhat rare circumstance. It's because I was in this long relationship, it ended, and now all of a sudden I find myself single at 40. Um, so I think there are circumstances where, like in my case or Jennifer's case, like you'll find yourself out in the dating pool through no fault of your own, and you're still one of the good ones that didn't get yeah, that didn't get wifed up or husband up. Is that a thing? I don't know, but that didn't happen for you in particular because of some circumstance. um, I just know I found myself in that case. Oh wait, Jennifer says, case, I disagree, but each to their own. But if you were right, could you maybe inform me where the great devoted men are? I'm assuming I can find one in a Western country, but maybe I'm wrong. Issues with finding a partner is not gender specific. And Case says, great devoted men are in much greater amount than devoted women, is what I'm saying. No one is saying there is no good women or there is no bad men. We're talking about the probability of getting one over the other. Well, the way I see it is, so probably the people who were the best at relationships and were the most valuable and had the best qualities, yeah, they got locked down pretty quickly, right? I mean, people wanted to keep them around. And then the people that you're left with, the people that are still single, at higher ages, there's a lot higher rate of them that look, they're single because of something like, you know it maybe they were in jail for that time period, or maybe there's some really bad quality of them. I don't know. um, I do see what Case is saying, that it's like a higher percentage later on would be like that. But then I get what Jennifer's saying, because it is really difficult to find somebody who, well, is devoted, but also is just like has moral integrity. Yeah, Jennifer, I think so. I live in a house with 34 guys, and they're okay as roommates, barely okay. But I um, but I think that guys, sometimes I get disappointed in guys. Like if you go on TikTok or you go on Instagram, well, Facebook even, and any girl posts a picture and you see all these comments, and they're mostly like old guys, like old weird guys, and they're always like either complimenting her or saying like strange things. I don't know. I feel like guys have some self-respect. Just making a comment on some girl's picture that you don't know, and the fact that it seems like they're doing that on so many girls' pictures, like, I don't know. I just feel like most men don't have respect for themselves, and they just will hit on any girl they see. And as a guy, I get frustrated with it. But I don't know. I feel like they make us all look bad, is what I'm saying. Wait. What's happening? Case said, great devoted men are in much greater amount than devoted women. Is what I'm saying. No one is saying there is no good woman or there is no bad men. We were talking, probability. Okay, I addressed that. Getting one over the other. If you were looking for devoted men, you can even say USA. The chance of you finding a good man is better than finding a good woman, but that's my point. But go passport sister. Passport sister to Asian country. They're big on families, so get a Chinese dude or Japanese dude. They're the most devoted ones. Jennifer says, I disagree with the statement that there are more good men than women. Maybe that's your feeling because you're a man. I would say it is equally as hard as a woman. Okay, I will go test the theory and go to Asia. Thank you. Okay, and then Case says, on average, a woman is going to look for a list of good qualities in men: rich, tall, funny, interesting, mysterious, etc. On average, a man is going to look for beauty or personality. On average, women always look for an 8, 9, or 10. Men don't mind dating down to a 3 to a 4 out of 10. I think that depends on the person. I mean, I can only talk about myself, but I'll be completely honest. As a guy, the first thing I notice is looks. And if looks are at least okay, like I'm not going to be super artificial, but that's not the word I was looking for. Superficial. I'm not going to be super superficial, but as long as she's like at least cute, then I can get to know her and see if I like her personality and other things about her. That's kind of the way that I look at it. I think I see what you're saying, because for like example, I don't have any care at all like how much a woman makes. I would, I'd date a girl who didn't have a job or worked fast food or something and made minimum wage. That wouldn't matter to me if she's like a good person, has a good personality. And I do think women are less likely to do that. So I think I see what you're saying there. But with I think if I'm reading between the lines here, I think Jennifer's basically saying she's not looking for that, or like she doesn't care about those types of things, that she's just looking for someone who's a good person. And I guess it's been hard to find that. Although I don't know anything about dating culture in China or Japan, so I can't really say anything about that. Case says, there you go. You were a good example. You're qualifying. Wait, did I miss something? Oh yeah, I missed something. Of course, the first thing you see is the look. How do you see her personality and flaws and mentality on the first look? Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. There you go. You were a good example. Your qualifying traits is somewhat good looking and maybe not as crazy as your ex. I try not to factor her in. And you don't care about how much she earns. But if you ask an average girl out there, it is going to be, yeah, 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 inches, and mysterious, entertaining, etc. I mean, yes, I will say, probably the average girl is like that. I think there's, at least USA standards, there's differences in what a woman looks for and what a man looks for. Jennifer said, Case, I think you were generalizing too much, but you are allowed to have your opinion. I respect that. I disagree with your generalizations, and that's my final statement on this topic. Yeah. Yeah, Jennifer, I appreciate that you argue respectfully. But anyway, I guess if I have any opinion on it, it's just that I think the point that's being argued is, well, I'm assuming this started with Jennifer's statement, but I think that she's just saying that she's looking for a good person, and it's been hard for her to find that, and I did that. So, okay. Based on truth, if you say you know all NBA teams, all NBA teams are Chinese. I'm completely lost now. Well, Case, I don't think you're going to get a response because she said she wouldn't say anything more about it. But basically, it is just not true. You can say there's Yao Ming, but 99.9% of NBA teams are black. Oh, wow. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Oh, shoot. There. Jennifer, everybody, if you didn't see that, Jennifer sent a super chat. Says, here's to a great 2026. Thank you for this year. Yeah, hey, thank you for coming here. Thank you for sticking with me through the last few years. They've been not easy to talk about, and I'm sure not easy to hear. And I'm still very much in a rebuilding phase, but I appreciate very much you sticking with me through all of that. So I'm happy you're still here. I'm looking forward to meeting you next year. So, but yeah, I will. I'll be able to give you a little more of an update when I get these videos out about the 2026 goals. Unfortunately, I've just been too busy to test out all that software to track all my finances again. So it's like hard to represent visually. But at least when I make these videos, I can tell you where I'm at with things. And as far as your questions of like, you know, when I might be debt free, things like that, I think that hopefully will give you a better idea. I really, I guess, am not as bad off as I thought I was. So, yeah, I'll try to figure that out. In the meantime, oh, thank you for whoever liked the video. In the meantime, I know you've got to make your travel plans and stuff. but think of what you'd like to do. Um, like if you just want to have everybody go out to dinner together, or if you want to, I don't know, you can go do some kind of activity. I guess it'll depend on a little bit of where you're going on your trip, and therefore we know where to meet up. But yeah, let me know if you come up with any ideas for that. All right. Well, I think we got 8 on. One of those is myself because I'm on over here on the computer, and I think Jennifer and Case are here. So it looks like not too many people are commenting. We'll stick around for a little bit more here and just see if anybody else has anything to say. Oh, Case says still in the frat house. Yeah. Yeah. On February 25th of 2026 will be a year that I've been here. And yeah, still there. I'm planning on staying. So really just trying to get some stability more long term, with staying in a job long term, and also just what comes from that is getting stuff figured out. Yeah, Jennifer, it must be better than living in your car. Yeah, I definitely have thought that. Like, I feel like if you're coming at this job from the perspective of like having your own apartment or house, and then you move into a frat house and you have to deal with all these problems, it's probably a lot harder to deal with than me moving up into this position. I guess I have an advantage that way. So yeah, of course, I have washer and dryer, I have electricity, I have heat, I have a shower, bathroom, a real bed, place to put my stuff. It's not the best shape. The guys are loud and annoying, but yeah, it is a lot better than living in the car. And well, we'll get into that in another video of why that was necessary, but yeah, it is definitely better. And I feel like I don't want to ever feel like I'm above living in my car. I don't want to look down on anyone who does that. But I am glad that I'm not doing that anymore. Although I will say, I'm here talking about I don't live in my car anymore, and yet that is actually how I'm saving money on hotel rooms when I take this trip back home. I will actually be sleeping in the car most nights. I think I'm only getting a hotel for one night just to save money. So it's going to take me 2 days to drive there. I'm definitely sleeping in the car that night. And the same way back, I'll be sleeping in the car. And then when I'm there, because I have to get up and get my hair cut the next day, I'm definitely going to stay in a hotel the night before and then get up and take a shower. I know my hair looks ridiculous, but obviously I want it to be clean for the guy to cut it. So I'll have a hotel for that, but I'll literally just be in parking lots, and I'll have like blankets and coats and stuff, but I'll also have I can turn the heat on and just run the car. It's kind of not great for the car, but it's a rental, so but let's see. Somebody said something. Oh, Case said, "What kind of drama do you get in?" Oh, what kind of drama do you get in the frat house? Okay, because at first I thought you said, "What kind of drama do you get into?" And I'm like, well, I don't really insert myself in drama, but there is drama. There's a lot more drama than you would think so, with it being a bunch of guys, but generally, lately, it's been, we had a girl call the cops and say one of the guys, I probably shouldn't be talking about this. We had a girl call the cops and say that one of the guys drugged her, and they swore they didn't, and I don't know because my boss actually told me not to check the cameras, so I didn't get to look back and see what actually happened. They say she was like that when she came over, and then she passed out in the bathroom. I don't know what happened. The police came. I had to talk to them. They only took my information and they never contacted me. So I assume that they tested the girl and found out she was not drugged. But I don't know. And then, let's see, what else happened? Well, the guys got in trouble. They flooded the second floor hallway and put, made it a slip and slide, basically. They got in trouble for that. Personally, I didn't care, but Nationals found out about it. So they weren't happy that they got in trouble. And then, yeah, Jennifer, weird story about TaskRabbit. I do still do it. I'm not really sure what's going on with TaskRabbit, but I kind of also feel like it's not just TaskRabbit. So I would completely love to be building some furniture on the side. It's just not happening, and I'm not sure why. 2022, 2023, I was doing it full time, and I was making pretty good money doing it. It always dies off in the winter, but in the summer, it's absolutely slammed, which is perfect because that's when I'm least busy as a house director. But I don't know what happened. I was getting decent business still in Charlotte in spring 2024, and then I moved back to Columbus. I only got one job when I was in Columbus through TaskRabbit. And then I moved out to Indiana, and I only got one job the whole time I was out there, like for 6 months or more. And I got one job through, I think, Facebook Marketplace, because I have some advertising on there, when I was in Indiana. Since I've moved here, and Boston is like a much bigger market for TaskRabbit, you would think that I would get a lot more work. No. Every once in a while, I will get a lead through Facebook Marketplace, but not a single one of them has worked out. It's always been somebody who either has like a weird request or only wants one item done, and I can't rent a car and drive all the way to Boston for one item. I've had a few requests through TaskRabbit, but they've all been for not furniture related things. They'll book me under the furniture assembly category, but they'll have like weird requests for things like something to do with a drone light show in an area that I don't even work in, so I had to turn that one down. Case, I'll get to your message, but I just saw what Jennifer said. Yeah, so basically, yes, I'm trying, but the leads have died off on TaskRabbit almost completely. But it's not just TaskRabbit, because I also have a website for my furniture assembly company, and I have ads on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm just not getting any jobs through that either. So just like, for some reason, randomly, for the last year or so, I'm getting like no work building furniture. But I'm absolutely going to continue try doing that. And if the majority of those leads come through TaskRabbit, great. If I get them on my own, cool. But yeah, I don't plan to stop doing furniture assembly. Just because I'm not doing it right now, it's literally just because I'm not getting leads. Case said, that's weird. Why would police talk to you instead of the party involved? So the reason for it is because I'm the only adult in the house. I know the guys are like 18 to 21, but here, at least, even though legally they're adults, no one considers them adults. So when the police or the fire department come here, they always want to speak to me. And ultimately, I am responsible for these guys. So I wasn't even here when it happened. I was here. I was here at my co-working space about 5 miles from the house. The chapter president called me and he was like, "Can you come here? They need to talk to you." And so I came and I talked to the police. And basically, it's just because I'm the employee and I'm the adult and I'm the representative of the chapter. In this kind of scenario, they would have contacted me if something happened, which is why I think they tested the girl and she didn't have drugs in her system. But because I just never heard back. But like if it were a situation, say like hazing, like I actually probably would be arrested for it because they have done that in the past where it would be the house director who would be arrested, or it would be the chapter along with the house director who would be arrested, because I do have that responsibility of being like the mature, responsible person. And, I can argue like, well, I didn't even know they were doing that or whatever, and I could probably get out of it. But I think initially, like, I would be the main person held responsible. Jennifer said, I just spilled a huge glass of water on my bedroom floor. I'm incompetent. No, you're good. No. Well, at least it was water, right? So it's not going to stain anything. But yeah, no, you're good. How huge are we talking? Like you're gonna flood the downstairs, or because somehow when the guys flooded the second floor for the slip and slide, it didn't leak through the floor, so you might be good. Half a liter. Okay, you're fine. That's not going to do any damage. You should be impressed I know what half a liter is. I have a little water bottle. Oh shit, it's on your router. Okay, well, that might be an issue. Yeah, just dry that off the best you can, and probably, well, I'd say turn it off, but then that's going to kick you offline. But yeah, so I know in the US, like, we don't use metric, except we do for liters for some reason. Most drinks come in 2-liter bottles. All right, dried it off. Hope it's all good. Yeah, it should be. It probably would have done something right away if it wasn't. But yeah. Well, there's nothing like incompetent about that, really. Just I'm uncoordinated sometimes, so I do stuff like that. Don't feel bad. But yeah, I would say as far as the fraternity stuff, I would hope that I don't ever encounter a situation where I get in trouble because of them. Jennifer said, "What weird tasks did you get on TaskRabbit?" Well, it depends on how far you want to go back. Because I have been on the platform since 2019. But I recently, I guess I didn't explain it all the way, but I got a request booked under furniture assembly. And it was from a guy who was putting on a drone light show who wanted me to, well, he didn't really even say what he wanted me to do, so I'm not sure, but he wanted me to do something with getting that show run, which is absolutely not furniture assembly. And it was in an area close to where my zone where I work, close to it, but was not in the zone. So it was like kind of out of it, and it was in a hard to get to place. Anyway, but a lot of them though are people who want me to travel a decent amount away. Like if it's here in town or local, I'll come build one thing. That's fine. I'll build one piece of furniture. But I usually charge around $80 to $100 for one piece of furniture. Or if they want to be billed hourly, I'll do hourly billing. But it generally takes me about 2 hours to build a piece of furniture. So it works out to be about the same. The issue is that I'm getting, when I do get requests, a lot of them are actually down in Boston proper, which is like an hour drive from me. It's not actually that far distance. It's like 20 miles, but with traffic, it's like an hour. And I have to rent a car, and then it's like a whole ordeal. So if they only have one piece of furniture, and that's most often what it is, let's say I charge $80. Well, it's going to be $100 for the rental car, plus paying gas. So I would lose money on doing that. I can only really travel down to Boston for if they have 2 or 3 pieces of furniture, where I'd get paid for like multiple hours, and I'd make a little bit of profit on top of the rental car. I haven't had any other real weird requests in Boston, but I have had some in the past. The weirdest one that stands out to me is back when I was living in Athens. I think this is like 2023. I had this girl who wanted me to help her move. And it wasn't booked under moving help, but I was like, yeah, I guess I can do that. She wanted me to take some of her furniture apart and then put it in my car. She wanted me to use my car, which that part was a little sketchy, but she was like, she wanted me to move it in my car to her new place. So it was like, take the furniture apart, move it in my car, and then move it back into her new apartment and put it back together for her, which was fine. But then she was moving from Columbus to Cincinnati. And so I would have to drive from Athens to Columbus to Cincinnati and then like back to Athens. And so I told her, I was like, well, and then the other thing was she wanted to ride with me. So I was basically also her ride to Cincinnati. But she offered to pay me gas. And I said, well, that's fine, I guess. I'm charging the hourly rate. But she didn't want to pay me the hourly rate while I was driving. Like she said, oh, no, I'll just pay for gas and I'll pay you hourly rate while you're like putting furniture together and moving stuff. But I don't want to drive 2 hours from Columbus to Cincinnati just for gas money. And she wanted to bring her cat. It was like, I don't know, it was a whole thing. So anyway, I guess that's not too weird now that I think about it, but when you're kind of like, when you have it set up just to build furniture and then you're getting requests outside what the scope of that, well, so Jennifer, I didn't tell her no, but what I did is I said, well, you just pay me the standard mileage rate. I'm like, if you don't want to pay, I agreed that she didn't have to pay me the hourly rate. So I was basically going to do the driving for free. But I said, don't just pay me for gas, pay me the standard mileage rate. And what that is the IRS, so like Internal Revenue Service. It's in the US, it's the tax department with the government. They set a standard every year for the amount that you can deduct per mile driven for business expenses. And it's supposed to include gas insurance and like wear and tear on the vehicle. I don't remember what it was then, but I think it's 70 cents per mile now. So I was like, you know what? Just pay me the equivalent of that for the mileage, um, which she didn't like because it was going to end up being like $200. And so, yeah, and then she kind of got like mean in the chat, and I thought what I was asking for was reasonable. She thought it wasn't. Morning, John. All right, guys, I'm gonna get another refill. I will be right back. Feel free to comment, and I will get back to you when I'm back. Okay. Case said, I'm working right now in a hotel in an ice storm. Leaving in half an hour. Yeah. So we've got one coming. We actually just had a big snow. We got like a foot here a few days ago. And then tonight, I think it's supposed to start in about an hour and a half. Actually, it might be the one that just got you, because you're like basically directly west of me. It's headed here. I saw we're supposed to look at from like 7 p.m. to like, I want to say sometime tomorrow morning. Yeah, there's supposed to be a big storm. So I'm actually, after the stream, I'm going to run to Wendy's and get dinner. I haven't been leaving the house all of winter break, and in my town, literally the only restaurant we have is Subway. So I'm gonna get Wendy's while I'm here, and then I'm gonna go home, so that I'm not out super late and trying to drive home in the storm. John Phillips says whereabouts. I think he might be talking to Case. Case is in Canada somewhere. Jennifer says, "Morning, John. It is 11:30 p.m. for me, though, so more like good night for me." Yeah, it's getting there for me too. It's 5:30 here. Jennifer's asking Case what he does for work. Assistant manager of hotel. Jennifer says HR manager, group fitness instructor, trail riding guide, and I teach at university. I do not have kids, so it leaves a lot of time for work. Case says, is it not allowed to cook in the frat house? I'm in Toronto. Okay, cool. Yeah, Case, I didn't know exactly in Canada where you were. Yeah, it makes sense. You're in the same time zone as me. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm almost on the East Coast. From my apartment, I can see Great Bay. And Great Bay is a saltwater inlet, so it's connected to the Atlantic Ocean. The ocean's actually like, I want to say 5 miles east of me. But I'm very close. I mean, I guess not very close. In my mind, I'm very close to Canada. Boston is the closest major city, but the next closest is Montreal. Oh, yeah. And what Jennifer said about not having kids leaves a lot of time for work. I kind of feel like not having kids is that's just the default though. So it's not really not having kids leaves a lot of time for work. It's that having kids takes time away from being able to work. But how do you feel about that? Like, are you wanting kids or and Case said, is it not allowed to cook in the frat house? I'm allowed to cook. I have two options for cooking. I have so I have the big kitchen that's used for like the commercial preparation of meals for all of the guys. I don't use it, but I'm allowed to. One, I can't cook. So I don't really know what I would do in there anyway. And two, chef is responsible for cleaning that, and I don't really want him to have to clean up after me. I do in my room though. I have a refrigerator. I have a refrigerator freezer combo that's kind of in between. It's not quite a full size one, and it's not quite a mini fridge. But I have that, and then I bought a stand from IKEA. It's like a kitchen. It's supposed to be like a kitchen island, but the way that I use it, as like, it sits beside the refrigerator, and it has stacked on top of it. I have my microwave, and then stacked on top of that, I have a Ninja Foodie, which is like it's basically a toaster oven. I use it as like a regular oven, and I cook stuff in that. So I do have some food that I store in my room. I don't have like a cooking surface, but I just find like I don't really need that. So yeah. Oh, John's in yeah, John is in Sydney. Okay. Yeah, and see, this is what I was saying because I think Jennifer said like most of my followers are in the U.S. I actually kind of think the people that are here most often in the stream are not. Um, so here's Australia. So we've got this chat, like the top people are Sweden, Canada, Australia. Um, all right. Oh, Jennifer says, I'm saying thanks and good night to everybody. Have to sleep now. See you on the next live. All right. Well, thanks for being here. Sorry I kept you up late, but hopefully your router dries out and just let me know. We'll make plans for your visit. Yeah. Case says, who is even in USA here? Seems like everybody's not in USA. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Um, I actually think that it was like I was explaining to Jennifer earlier. I think most people who are subscribed to my channel and most people who do like watch the videos are in the US, but of the people who are most active, especially here, like in the comments of the videos and here on these live streams, it's really people who aren't in the US. So if we do plan on having this big meetup, um, we're gonna have to figure out a place, uh, I guess, where would be best for everyone to meet up. Because that's gonna involve a lot of travel for everyone. All right. Well, I don't see any more comments. I think Casey's got to leave work soon. Jennifer just left. So I think we've been on for over 2 hours. Yeah. Well, let me know if you guys have any last minute comments. But if not, I'll shut it down shortly. And just so you know, for the rest of the year, I'm going to be incredibly busy with work and trying to get some of these videos done. And then I'm leaving very early January to go on this trip. So I'm kind of stressed out right now, but I'm getting as much of this stuff done as I can. And then also, guys, I got like 5 hours of sleep, so I'm a little out of it anyway. But next time you see me, I should look normal. This will all be gone. Oh, John, yeah. Yeah, yeah, you can do that. It should be on. Sometimes it takes it down and then reposts it after it processes, but sometimes you can just go back and watch it. I'm not sure how that works, but hopefully you'll be able to just go back and watch. Yeah, because we've been on for quite a while. Oh, Case, I'm going, oh, that's actually a good question. So, I'm going home. So I'm going to Ohio in like a week or roughly. I've only been back once since the summer of 2024. I have a lot of errands I have to run. And so I took a week off work, but it's 2 days to drive there, 3 days there, 2 days to drive back. And I'm, yeah, so I'm gonna head home, and then over spring break, I think I'm gonna head home again, but I'm gonna fly home. And then in the summer, I think I'm gonna go to Bloomington, Indiana again. So whoever that was who kept wanting to meet me at Mother Bear's, if you're watching this, comment below, because it looks like I'm going to Bloomington again. So that's where I was working at Indiana University before this. It looks like my conference is going to be there. Partly, yeah, case. That's what I'm going to be doing. Although it's not that the container is going to get that cleared out. It's more that I have some stuff in my car here that I thought I was going to need for my apartment. I don't. I want to take it back and put in there. And there's some stuff that I want to take out and bring with me. Um, I've got this really nice oil, like electric oil heating radiator thing. It is cold as fuck in my room. Well, I guess that's not fair. My room is a lot warmer than the rest of the house. I mean, it is like 0 Fahrenheit here right now, but and it's just the start of winter. But I also have 4 space heaters and 2 regular heaters running in my room right now. Um, this is going to be added to that. But I will say this thing, when I was running this in Athens, when I rented a room there, if you set this thing on 80, which is like the highest it goes, it would literally get so hot in that room that the walls would sweat. So I'm hoping it can do that for this bigger space, because I would be totally fine with it being 80 in my room all the time. It has got to be 50 degrees in the rest of the house. And the fact that we have 6 rooms that don't even have heat, I don't know how those guys are surviving. But anyway, but oh yeah, and travel. So over the summer, I'll be going to Indiana in the summer. At some point during the summer, I want to go out to I think it's called the Isle of Shoals. That might not be right. There's some islands off the coast of Maine and New Hampshire. And I can take a bus to the shoreline. The bus stops right outside of my house. I can take a bus there, and then you take a boat. And first, they do whale watching. I want to do that. They do whale watching on the way, and then they take you out to this island, like pretty far off the shore. I've never been that far offshore before, and it's more of like a history thing. It's like a early New England settlement. So I'd like to go out there. What else? And then depending on what my little does, yeah, I'll see about maybe going to London if it's cheap. If I'm just paying for the flight and I can stay with him for free, um, I might do that if I can. So I'll take like, some super cheap airline to get over there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I would like to travel more, but I won't have much time to. Yeah, I think that's it for travel. I think that's it, because like that's a lot of travel for somebody who doesn't have any time with my work schedule to take time off. So that is a lot of traveling. So in 2026, I should be in probably Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Ohio, West Virginia, Indiana, technically Connecticut, because I'm going there. What happened to the student debt forgiveness thing? Was that canceled? There's been so many of them. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but there's the last thing that happened was in December, I think it was the 13th. So the U.S. Department of Education signed a joint proposal with the state of Missouri over a lawsuit in federal court that was preventing the SAVE plan from being implemented. And yeah, I don't know. Basically, it's held up in court right now. They've both agreed to a new plan, but the court hasn't approved it yet. And it is kind of questionable if they will, because there are a couple things they agreed to that might not be legal. So there might be some more legal battles. But essentially, there will be no forgiveness. And even most of the payment plans that we were on that gave us lower payments are going away. That's why I said I can't do any kind of expanded, like saving for retirement this year. I'd planned on upping that, but now I have to start paying an additional student loan payment every month. I will still get forgiveness of my remaining federal student loans in 2037, because they are forgiven after 25 years. But I've got 12 more years to go. So I'm just going to pay the minimums on those, and yeah, there's no incentive to pay them off in full. Thailand. I mean, I definitely cannot fit Thailand in this year. And I'm not going there for girls, just so you know. But I wouldn't mind going at some point. But I have so many places I want to travel. John says they just completed a student debt forgiveness here in Australia. Debt's reduced by 20%. My daughter pretty happy with that. Yeah, I would. So I have 32,000 in federal student loans. So what, that'd be like 6,400 off of that. Yeah, I mean, I'd take anything I could get. Well, yeah, Case. I mean, I don't know about dating. Maybe, but I'm not. I'm not as pessimistic about girls as you, but with debt, I mean, yeah, I mean, we have credit scores, which like nowhere else has except for China, I think. And then, I mean, we do have all these issues with debt and the collection of debt, and just everything about the way the country is run is like backwards of everywhere else in the world. So yeah, I mean, I haven't talked about it a lot on here, but like, I don't plan to stay here. I just unfortunately was born here. So, I mean, I'll probably keep my citizenship so I can come back when I want to, but I don't want to stay here and deal with this stuff. I want to go somewhere I can get health care, even if that means, well, say like Latvia, for example. They've got this program where you can, I think it's 40,000 US, or maybe it's 40,000 euros, but pretty close either way. You just put that in one of their banks and you get permanent residency, and then you can get citizenship fairly easily, and then you have medicine, and you have, for the first time in my life, I'll be going to a doctor. That's going to be so weird too. I'm going to roll into a foreign country at 45 or 50 years old for a general checkup, and they're going to be like, oh, it's like, what do you got going on? I'm like, fuck if I know. I'm American. I've never been to a doctor. Have to do every test on me possible. I mean, I don't think I have any health problems. I don't have anything bothering me, but I've not had any kind of monitoring or checkup. It is definitely going to be weird because, like, I don't even know what vaccines I've had. My mom, she used to keep track of them. I guess when I was born, they gave her this, like, was like a folding cardboard thing, and then she like wrote down every vaccination I had. And then at some point, her purse was stolen out of her car, and that was in it. So I have no idea what I've even had. Um, I don't know. I just feel like that's not a normal thing to like roll into the doctor at that age and just be like, I've never been to a doctor before. But like Case, I know you brought up before that like I should go get things checked out. And it's not like I don't care, and it's not like like I'm refusing to do that. It's just it's an impossibility here. And I don't think that yeah, I don't know. The US is just so different that like the way that things are handled here, we are totally different. Like you can't imagine not going to the doctor for things to get checked out, and I can't imagine going to the doctor for things like that. Um, so, I mean, I at least am trying to go to the dentist, but I can't get scheduled for an appointment apparently. But that's just going to be me paying directly. I don't have insurance, so yeah, need to check wallet. Well, that's why I saved up that HSA. Um, I saved up $1,000 separate from everything else so that it can pay for doctor's appointments. Um, so when I do get my dentist appointment, it'll be a cleaning and x-rays, um, and that'll come out of that account. Go to the doctor and get a bill, you'd be confused. Yeah, so, but I don't know where my life is going to take me because, being honest about it, it is hard to plan things on your own when you have to consider that you are 40 and open to finding a partner. So, it does somewhat, it's hard to plan things when you don't know where you're going to find that person and where they are. Yeah, Case, I heard they added dental recently. 2 root canals and 6 fillings for free. I think when I got my root canal, this is back in 2013, I think it was free, but I had really good insurance at that time. I was working at Abercrombie and Fitch. Yeah, I think it was free because I definitely was not making very much actual money. So I don't think I would have been able to pay for it if it wasn't free. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really lucky to be healthy and not have any health problems. But everyone gets health problems of some sort eventually. And so I'm trying to get out of here. I mean, this isn't the only reason, but like, I am trying to get out of here to somewhere where I have access to that before I start having those problems. So I don't know. I mean, I'm still open-minded about where to move. I mean, Latvia and Georgia are right now just my top contenders. Well, yeah, I mean, you have to have perfect teeth to work there. That's it's called the look policy. Um, there are certain brand standards about that. So, um, yeah, my manager at the last store that I worked at for that, she was a model, but there was something wrong with her front teeth. I don't know what exactly it was, uh, but like I don't know how to describe it. They like turned black or something, and so she actually had them pulled. And while she was on the insurance there, she got implants. Um, and um, they looked really good. Like she looked great when they were finished, but um, they glow in the dark. So, like under a black light. Oh, not glow in the dark, but like under black light, they glow. But yeah, no, Abercrombie, like we knew that we had really good healthcare, but I also didn't have any money to use it. The only time I used it was for that root canal, and I had pneumonia while I worked there. So I did go get checked out for that. So I don't know. I mean, I think what I'm going to end up with eventually is probably just having dual citizenship in the US and somewhere else. Oh, how do I know that well, because like we would go out. No, no, no. It's because she went out to the bars with us. Um, this is like 2013. So I would go out with coworkers after work. But but yeah. So um I'm just thinking I'm probably going to end up with dual citizenship somewhere. I just don't know where the other country is going to be. That way, I can come back to the US for stuff whenever I want, but also be able to live somewhere better. It is just difficult trying to figure out where that's going to be. And it's not going to be Canada. It is too damn cold. Um, so, I don't know. I got a lot of traveling, I think, to do, so I can check some places out before I decide what to do with that. Yeah, Case. They do allow dual citizenship. The thing that sucks about the U.S. Um, you have to continue paying taxes like your entire life. You can never escape it. So no matter where I live, I have to pay taxes there and I have to pay tax to the US. So even though I don't live in the US, I would have to pay federal income tax. Um, well, it's more than federal because there's federal income tax and there's FICA, which is Medicare and Social Security. And then I also have to pay state and local taxes on the income that I'm earning in a different country. And then, of course, I have to pay that country's taxes too. So I'm just anticipating that I'm going to have like a 90% tax rate. So I just have to make enough money that I can live on what's left over after all that. But yeah, US is kind of predatory. So I don't know. I mean, I've thought about this for a long time. Even back in 2021, I mean, when I first took the house director job, that was to immediately get out of the area. And then the girl and I were she wanted to travel to England and Australia. But they were scouting trips to figure out where we were going to move to. Because she agreed, she wanted to leave. And for her, I think a lot of it was a healthcare thing, because she has a lot of health problems. But Case said, I just watched a video about a Japanese salaryman having a Christmas meal for 5 USD. I don't know what a salaryman is. You definitely couldn't get anything for $5 here. I doubt you could even get a single sandwich for $5. And I know that depends on where you are, but here in New England, you definitely could not. Like I told you about my Christmas dinner, of course, part of it's because I ordered through Uber Eats, and that includes the delivery and the tip. But yeah, I spent about $50, and that was just for one meal. I split it up to make it 2 meals, but it really was meant to just be one meal. It's cold in here. What is going on? Any job that's corporate salary. So what do you mean by the $5? Was it? Oh wait, he had a good curry chicken meal with sushi, etc. All for 5. Okay, so you're saying that's cheap. Oh, yeah, food is absurdly expensive. Like, food went up a lot during COVID, both groceries and like restaurant food. But then now I've moved to a higher cost of living area, and that doesn't usually affect me all that much because I get food provided for free by the chef. And usually high cost of living, like the two things it affects is like housing and food. Well, the food's covered and the housing's covered. So it doesn't really affect me that I live in this high cost of living area until I try to go get food out somewhere. Now, I'm going to Wendy's after this, but Wendy's, I already know, is going to be $14. I don't know what that is. It's going to be $14 for the spicy chicken meal. I remember that used to be $4, but it depends on what it is. Like Subway, I can't get out of Subway for less than $25 for one sandwich. And I don't have a lot to compare it to because we literally only have Subway in my town. All right. All right. So Kay says, "Oh, if you bring USD there, you live like a king." Anyway, I'm done for work, so I have to go back and eat and sleep. Good night. All right, man. Later. Glad you're here. I'll try to get those other videos out this month, hopefully. Hopefully. But all right. So you're signing off. I think Jennifer's gone, and I don't think our other mods were here today. So, all right. Well, I don't see any more comments. So what I'll do, let's look over the leaderboard here. This is gonna be a little hard to do because it's going by username. Oh, okay. So top fans. Okay, so Jennifer is in first place by far. She got 1,075 XP. Case is number 2 with 225. John is 75, third place. Mike has 25 in fourth place. I'm not sure how these are ranked because 4th, 5th, and 6th place all have 25 XP. But we've got Mike at 4th, Dragon Shores at 5th, and Max at 6. All right. Oh, Kay says my lobster egg Benedict was 50 Canadian. It was not as good as I imagined. That must be like, yeah, I can see that. It was like 35 American, something like that, 40 maybe. So yeah, I can. That would be like a cost I would expect for something around here. Speaking of that, I'm going to go get poutine tomorrow. I am trying to learn about the local area, so there's a poutine truck in my town, and I'm gonna go get it tomorrow. It is a little bit expensive though. That's why I was thinking that. So I'm gonna do that. But for tonight, it's Wendy's, and I also bought some groceries to take home with me from the office tonight too. I'm not always eating out. Anyway, I don't see any more comments, so I will end it here. I promise you guys I'm working on that student loan video. And at this point, I'm just really trying to get it done and out and published so that I can now do the other two videos that I have to do, the end of the year video and the new year goal video. So I'm really trying. So just bear with me. I got a lot going on with this trip and with work, kind of stressed out. So within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm trying to get all this done. And I don't know how successful I'll be, but I'm working on it. So, all right. Thank you guys for all being here. And for sticking with me when I get busy and can't make videos. Next time you see me, I'll look like a normal person again. And yeah, hopefully, I don't know, hopefully 2026 brings a lot better things. Not that 2025 is bad, it's just not good enough yet. So 2026. All right, no more comments. So I will, we'll do this again next month. And in the meantime, I will at least get you that student loan video. So I can at least promise that.